The modern story of Korea and Canada started as one of Han. People torn apart from their homeland by war and economic conditions, arriving in their new home with little more than their scars from the past and hopes for the future. In 60 short years, the story of people receiving help has turned into one of people contributing to Canadian society at a level many may have never imagined. The ties between the two countries actually go back a century. The hand of Canadian friendship was first extended by people like James S. Gale, who set sail across the Pacific in 1892 to spread Christianity. He became so enamored of the people, he translated local books into English and wrote the first Korean English dictionary, encouraging other missionaries to follow in his footsteps. Most Koreans had never met a Canadian other than a missionary until 50 years later, when 27,000 Canadian soldiers rushed to the peninsula to stop the advancing communist forces. After 3 years of bombing and many harsh battles, Korea was reduced to rubble. That set the stage for the miracle on the Han. In the space of 3 generations, and with no natural resources, Korea has become the world's 11th largest economy, universally admired for its people's willingness to pull together as one and their tireless work ethic. Even those who went overseas looking for better opportunities brought that same can-do spirit to their new homes. When the first wave arrived in Canada in the 1960s, a lack of English language skills forced many into manual labor. But they endured the initial hardship, and their success made both countries proud. Sang Hwae-gu, who headed research into children's bone diseases at Sick Kids Hospital, was among the first group who went on to become doctors. So was Chi Ryong-kang, who pioneered vaccines used to fight AIDS, hepatitis, and hemorrhagic fever, using genetic engineering and biotechnology. In other fields, Dr. Taek-sun Yoon, Professor Emeritus at University of Toronto, is internationally renowned for his work in high energy and particle physics. Reverend Sang-cheol Lee, the 32nd moderator of the United Church of Canada, is also a former chancellor of the University of Victoria in U of T. The second wave was sparked in the 1970s when under Pierre Trudeau, Canada embraced multiculturalism. Many Korean Canadians started sponsoring family members. It was at this point the growing community reached a size where it wanted its own services, leading to the opening of the Korean Canadian Cultural Center, which brought people together to share experiences, network, and keep their culture alive. By then, many of the Koreans who had come a decade earlier had saved enough money to open their own small businesses. Their willingness to work hard gave rise to high-profile business people like Mr. Changbok Lee, who opened one of Toronto's first Korean supermarkets on downtown Bloor Street, and Mr. Chang Hun-jung, the owner of 3 Toronto area car dealerships. The third wave of immigration, which started in 1990, accounts for over 75% of all Korean immigration to Canada. They are skilled workers, highly educated, many with experience at world-class Korean companies like Samsung, LG, Hyundai, Kia, Daewoo, and Korean Air. They are choosing Canada as a home base for global opportunity. As Prime Minister Justin Trudeau noted, Korean Canadians are well entrenched in every level of Canadian life, including government. A leading example is Senator Yeona Martin, not just the first Canadian of Korean descent to serve in the Senate of Canada, but deputy leader of the opposition in the Red Chamber. Provincially, Raymond Cho, a longtime city councillor, is now a member of the Ontario legislature. In the field of law, His Worship Justice of the Peace, Jae Chong, is Canada's first Korean-born judge. A prominent member of the bar, Won Kim founded the Korean-Canadian Lawyers Association and served as a chairman of the Royal Ontario Museum. In the world of advertising, names don't get much bigger than J. Walter Thompson. The head of J. Walter Thompson Canada? Susan Kim Kirkland. Korean Canadians even tackled Canada's most sacred sport, hockey. Former NHL player Jim Pak, who grew up in Toronto, is now the head coach of the South Korean national team. In entertainment, cellist Earl Lee can often be found conducting Toronto Symphony Orchestra. CBC's new TV series, Kim's Convenience, shows Korean culture is becoming mainstream in today's Canada. But as the community matures, the Korean-Canadian dialogue has started going both ways. Many in Korea may not realize that popular rapper Tablo of Epic High is actually Canadian. They may not know that Henry Lau of Super Junior was born and raised in Toronto, as was Sandra Oh of Grey's Anatomy, who is making a big splash in Hollywood. The truth is, in 60 years, Korean Canadians have made a big footprint around the world. As the second and third generation of Korean Canadians grew up here, it's going to be fun and fascinating to see what the coming decades have in store for our joint community.